Japan's military history stretches back over 3,000 years, as far back as 1000 BCE. Today, however, their forces look very different from the prehistoric battlers of the Jōmon period or the samurai of feudal Japan. Modern Japanese military forces fall under the umbrella of the Japan Self-Defense Forces established after World War II. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force is made up of approximately 50,000 personnel and has about 740 operational craft. Of those, 330 are fighter aircraft designed for combat. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at the current strength of the JASDF, focusing on its largest and most advanced aircraft. So, without further ado, here are 10 of the most notable aircraft currently in service with the Japanese Air Force. Mitsubishi X2 Shinshin. We turn to the Japanese Air Force's fastest and perhaps most famous aircraft, the Mitsubishi X2 Shinshin. Introduced in 2016, there is only one such aircraft in the world, produced by Mitsubishi in collaboration with and for the Japanese Ministry of Defense Technical Research and Development Institute, and used primarily by the Air Self-Defense Force. It is a stealth jet used for research and testing of new technologies. However, it's most notable as the first ever stealth jet developed and built by Japan, making them only the fourth country in the world to design and successfully build their own stealth jet aircraft, behind the US, Russia, and China. For that reason, it is, in many ways, the face of Japan's new era of progress in the defense and aerospace realms. And it's one impressive jet. The X2 Shinshin is built for incredible stealth, with sleek, seamless joints and unique composite materials. They even designed a serpentine-shaped air intake duct to further suppress radar reflection, and it is fast. Taking a crew of one, the X2 Shinshin has an empty weight of 21,385 pounds. Its maximum takeoff weight is unpublished. It is 46 feet long with an almost 30-foot wingspan. It has a 1,800-mile range, and it travels up to Mach 2.25, or 1,713 miles per hour. At that speed, range notwithstanding, one could get from Tokyo to New York in less than 4 hours. Of course, it can't maintain that speed that long, but that's how fast it goes. For context, on a commercial jet, that's an almost 14-hour flight. Mach 2.25 would get you from NYC to Los Angeles in a quick hour and a half. It's a fast jet. All that said, at present, its primary function is simply as a testing ground for new technologies. It's not out on the field with the Air Force, but with technology like the X2 Shinshin in the works, it'll be exciting to watch Japanese advancements in defense and aerospace technology unfold over the coming years. 9. F-35A Lightning II. As we near the end of our list, we look at another American-made vehicle in use by Japan's forces, the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. The F-35 family of single-seat, single-engine aircraft are stealth multi-role supersonic fighter aircrafts first introduced in 2015. At present, the Japanese Air Force has 12 operational F-35As, another 93 F-35As on order, and 42 F-35Bs ordered, with delivery expected over the coming several years. They're considered fifth-generation fighters and therefore have advanced avionics, with notably complex mission systems and sensor fusion, a system that compiles data from a variety of sources, and place a high emphasis on stealth or low observability. They are fast and powerful, carrying a wide array of possible weaponry, including air-to-air, air-to-surface, and anti-ship missiles, laser-guided bombs, Rockeye-2 cluster bombs for anti-tank warfare, the AGM-154 joint standoff weapon, and even a B-61 Mod 12 nuclear bomb. The F-35A has a maximum takeoff weight around 70,000 pounds, while the F-35B maxes out at 60,000 pounds. Both can travel up to Mach 1.6, or 1,218 miles per hour, and hold a crew of just one. The difference between the A and B variants lies primarily in their takeoff capabilities. The F-35A uses conventional takeoff and landing, CTOL, while the F-35B is the short takeoff and vertical landing, STOVL variant of the aircraft. mean it needs much less runway and can land vertically with little to runway to speak of, like a helicopter. Since its introduction, the Lightning II has quickly shot to prominence, with 14 national forces using its variants worldwide to date. However, for a time in 2019, Japan's Air Force actually grounded its 12 F-35As after a pilot performing a drill disappeared off radar over the Pacific Ocean and was found to have perished in an accidental crash, reportedly caused by the pilot's spatial disorientation. 8. Boeing AH-64DJP. The Boeing AH-64D, better known as the Apache, is a well-known attack helicopter in use by over 15 militaries worldwide. And, as of 2007, it is also a member of the Japanese Self-Defense Forces' formidable fleet. Japan has 12 Apaches in service at present, largely officially with their ground forces, but as attack helicopters, they are nonetheless notable as part of their airborne power. Apaches were first introduced in 1986 and have seen action in many of the conflicts of the last several decades, including in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, and the Gaza Strip. The AH-64DJP is a Japan-specific variation based on the AH-64D, known as the Apache Longbow. This updated version of the Apache, one of many variants in use worldwide, was introduced in 2003 and has upgraded engines, a specialized millimeter wave fire control radar, FCR target acquisition system, and radar frequency interferometer (RFI), a number of tactical internet and digital communications upgrades, improved survivability, new navigation systems, and perhaps most importantly, upgraded weaponry that includes AIM-92 Stinger air-to-air missiles. Broadly speaking, Apaches carry a pilot and co-pilot or gunner, have a 23,000-pound maximum takeoff weight, and hit-never-exceed speeds around 227 miles per hour, with a recommended maximum of 182 miles per hour. While Japan's upgraded and modernized version may improve slightly on these stats, it's likely they're not far off. 7. Kawasaki C2. Moving on, we look at the Kawasaki C2, a relatively large military transport aircraft developed and manufactured by Japan's Kawasaki Aerospace Company. The C2 has been in service with the JASDF since 2016. 7 of them are in service today, with a total of at least 40 planned over the coming decade and beyond. The C2 was built to eventually completely replace the existing, aging C1s which entered use in the 1970s. Primarily used as a long-range, high-speed military transport craft, the C2 was designed specifically to meet a robust set of needs put forth by the Japanese Defense Agency when they concluded in the mid-1990s that no aircraft existed to fit their needs, which included in-flight aerial refueling capabilities, the range to reach Hawaii from Japan, and roughly double the payload capacities of a Lockheed Martin C-130 transport aircraft. And that's what they got in the C2. First entering service in 2016, it has maximum takeoff weight of 311,734 pounds, with a maximum payload of 37.6 tons, 6.4 tons short of doubling the 22-ton payload capacity of even the most recent, largest iteration of the C-130J. The Kawasaki C2 can reach a maximum speed of Mach 0.82 or 624 miles per hour and has a 4,700-mile range with a 20-ton payload, or 6,100 miles empty, plus a 40,000-foot service ceiling. For context, that means the Kawasaki C2 is capable of carrying more, moving faster, and going farther than most comparable aircraft. Nonetheless, despite efforts to sell and some interest from other nations, no other country's forces have come forward to order C2s from Kawasaki, so it remains in use solely by Japan's forces. 6. Mitsubishi H-60. The 6th entry on this list is more specifically dedicated to ASW, or anti-submarine warfare. The Mitsubishi H-60, and in particular its SH-60JK variants, was designed as an anti-submarine patrol helicopter loosely based on the Sikorsky S-70. The very first H-60s were introduced in 1991, but the most recent anti-sub model, the SH-60K, was introduced more recently, in 2005, and as many as 50 are believed to be in production. The UH-60J, which is also used by the JASDF, is specialized for patrolling and search and rescue. Here are the general stats for the H-60. The base model has a maximum takeoff weight of 21,495 pounds, a maximum speed of 165 miles per hour, a range of 363 miles, and a service ceiling of 19,000 feet. It's typically armed with two Mark 46 ASW torpedoes, a machine gun, an AGM-114 Hellfire air-to-surface missile, possible additional torpedoes, and depth charges. That said, the newest SH-60Ks will have extended capabilities, thanks upgraded avionics, a newly developed main rotor blade design, an upgraded engine, and other modifications. It's been reported that an even more advanced iteration of this anti-submarine helicopter is in the works, called the SH-60L, but little is known about it except that it'll feature a significantly upgraded ultra-high-speed communication system and a refined engine transmission. 5. Shinmeiwa US-2. Moving on, we come to the Japanese Shinmeiwa US-2 short takeoff and landing amphibious aircraft, first introduced in 2007. While these are actually largely used by the Japanese Marine Self-Defense Force, we thought they were worth taking note of because of the added capabilities it brings to Japan's forces in the air. Western reports seem to conflict as to how many US-2s are currently in production or expected, but it seems that as many as 6 are in service at present, and up to 14 of them will ultimately be produced for Japan. The model has also received quite a bit of international interest, with Indonesia, India, Greece, and Thailand considering making orders for US-2s of their own. So what's so special about this craft? It is incredibly useful for search and rescue missions, and the company Shinmeiwa reports that between the US-2 and its predecessor US-1, the craft have been sent on over 1,000 search and rescue missions. They can hold a crew of 11, plus 20 passengers or 12 stretchers. They have a maximum takeoff weight of 105,160 pounds, a maximum speed of 350 miles per hour, a service ceiling of 23,606 feet, and a 2,900-mile range. This means they're able to go many times faster than an average ship or helicopter and can travel farther than most helicopters or other land-based aircraft, since they can make water landings and takeoffs. While they have little to no armaments or defenses, applications have been explored for combat as patrol craft and for anti-submarine warfare. Plus, search and rescue functions are always needed, and the usefulness of the US-2 is compounded by their civil and military fighter fighting capacity. 4. Mitsubishi F2. For the next entry on this list of the Japanese Air Force's most advanced aircraft, we turn to the Mitsubishi F2. This multi-role fighter jet is a collaboration between Japan's Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and multinational aerospace and defense company Lockheed Martin. These impressive fighter jets are based on the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon and have been in service since the year 2000. Today, there are 98 Mitsubishi F-2s in the JASDF fleet. These fighters are particularly impressive. They're among the fastest craft in use by Japan's Air Force, though not quite the fastest, as you'll see when we get to the final entry on this list. They have a maximum takeoff weight of 48,722 pounds, hold just a pilot, although the F-2B variation has room for a second crew member, and max out at a 59,000-foot service ceiling. Most impressively, however, they can reach a maximum speed of Mach 1.7, roughly 1,294 miles per hour, with some sources saying they can even reach 1,320 miles per hour at the outside edge of their capabilities. F-2s had the first ever electronically scanned array radar system on a combat aircraft. They're equipped with the Mitsubishi Active Electronically Scanned Array Radar System JAPG-2. They have a vast array of other avionics systems, including the Mitsubishi Electric Integrated Electronic Warfare System, and they come armed with a 20mm cannon and can hold additional armaments including the JLAU-3A rocket pod, a variety of air-to-air missile options, air-to-ground weapons including anti-ship missiles, and free-falling bombs with seeker heads. The F-2 is a formidable aircraft one would not want to meet in battle. 3. Augusta Westland MCH-101. Up next we have the Augusta Westland medium-lift helicopter known as the AW-101, designated the MCH-101 in Japan. The AW101 was a joint venture developed by the United Kingdom's Westland Helicopters and the now-defunct Italian helicopter manufacturer Augusta. A popular helicopter model globally, in Britain, Denmark, and Portugal, these aircraft are known as Merlins, and the Canadian variation is known as the CH-149 Cormorants. While they've been in service, broadly speaking, since 1999, Japan only brought AW101s into service in 2006 to 2007. AW101s were first conceptualized because the UK wanted an updated helicopter capable of anti-submarine warfare. And the final product is unique in its inclusion of exactly such weaponry. The AW101 has hard points on its underframe capable of carrying 4 Stingray torpedoes or Mk-11 Mod 3 depth charges for anti-submarine attacks. They're also notable for their highly advanced autopilot functions. The Smiths Industries OMI-20 SEP dual redundant digital automatic flight control system, plus its standard self-defense and warning systems, which include a Raquel Orange Reaper ESM, Celix Galileo Blue Kestrel 5000 maritime surveillance radar, infrared jammers, chaff and flare dispensers, and protective armor to defend against small arms fire. The AW101 has a maximum takeoff weight of 32,187 pounds, can reach up to 192 miles per hour, and holds a maximum of 4 crew members. Its service ceiling is just over 15,000 feet, and today, it's operated by the forces of 13 different nations, including the Japanese Self-Defense Force, which has 14 of these handy multi-role helicopters. The Japanese iteration has been modified by Kawasaki and includes additional capabilities, like automated folding of the rotor and tail and mine detection and mine sweeping capabilities. 2. Kawasaki OH-1 Ninja. In the second slot on this list, we have the Kawasaki OH-1, a scout and reconnaissance helicopter that's been in service with the JASDF since 2000. While its primary purpose is observation, this Japanese-made craft has capabilities that allow it to enter combat with a limited number of anti-tank and air-to-air missiles. At least 38 OH-1s have entered service, with the ultimate aim to replace entirely the Hughes OH-6Ds from the 1960s that are currently in service with Japan's forces. A light observation model of helicopter, the Kawasaki OH-1 has a maximum takeoff weight of just 8,818 pounds. It carries 2 people, a pilot and observer, and has a maximum speed of 173 miles per hour. Kawasaki has initially hoped that the scope of the basic form of the OH-1 would be expanded for attack uses. But its weaponry capabilities were found to be too limited, and Japan's Air Force instead pursued the purchase of several Boeing Apaches for the combat wing of their helicopter forces. 1. Boeing E-767. The first craft on our list is the US-made Boeing E-767 Airborne Warning and Control System, or AWACS, aircraft. First introduced to service in Japan in the year 2000, all 4 of the E-767s built for the JASDF are still in service today. The E-767 is actually unique to Japan. They had initially hoped to procure the kind of Boeing E-3 Sentry AWACS in use by the US Air Force, but production of the E-3 was shut down before they could make the order. Instead, Boeing made them what's basically a mashup of the E-3 and the Boeing 767-200 wide-body commercial airliner. The E-767s used the E-3's surveillance radar and air control system, but placed inside the frame of a 767. The primary function of an airborne early warning and control system like this one is to detect and track aircraft, ships, and other vehicles at a long range, but they can also be used to perform command and control functions during battle and for surveillance purposes. For that reason, less emphasis is put on stealth and speed for this kind of craft, though those features remain important. In fact, its stats are pretty exceptional across the board. The E-767 is 159 feet long, holds 2 crew and 8 to 10 additional personnel, has a maximum takeoff weight of 385,000 pounds, and can reach a maximum speed of Mach 0.86, or roughly 654 miles per hour, with a cruising speed on Mach 0.8, or 609 miles per hour. Its service ceiling is 40,100 feet, It has a range of 5,600 nautical miles, and it has up to 13 hours of endurance. In 2006, Japan further awarded a contract to Boeing to install radar system improvement program kits to the 4 E-767s, consequently improving their radar sensitivity and upgrading their computers to better handle future software updates. Overall, this may be an aging aircraft in terms of its tech, but it remains a sturdy and significant member of the fleet. And there you have it. Those are the most interesting, formidable, modern, and useful aircraft in service with the Japanese Air Force today. What do you think? Do you find any of these particularly impressive? Any details catch your eye? Or do you think the JASDF advancements are overhyped? Weigh in down below in the comments section. Thanks so much for being here. We hope you're safe and well, and don't forget to come back soon for more incredible true modern Air Force content like this.